Okay, so we've created our shooter character BP, and in this video, we're going to refresh on the UE log macro call, which allows us to log information to the output log. Now, if you don't have the output log here, you can easily add the output log tab by going to Window and going down to Developer Tools and selecting Output Log. So make sure you have that selected so that you'll have the output log available for logging messages. So let's log a couple messages to the output log just to make sure that we understand how UE log works. Now we can type UE underscore log, all caps, followed by the category name for the log. Now we're going to use log temp. This will serve our purposes just fine. And for verbosity, we're going to use warning, which allows us to create a log to the output log with yellow font. Next requires a text string, and we're going to always use the text macro to make sure that we're passing in text encoded in Unicode. That just ensures that more characters are at our disposal. Now, using the UE log like this is a good way to verify that the function that we're in is being called. For example, I can just log to the output log that begin play has been called. And if I compile this, then I can jump back into the editor and press play and take a look at the output log, and you'll see that we get our log here that says begin play called. So we know that begin play was successfully reached. Now we can format this string to include values that we would like to have in our log. Let's say we have an integer. I'm going to create a local integer variable called myInt, and I'm going to initialize it to the value of 42. Now I'm using braced initialization, which is generally good practice whenever you can. With braced initialization, a variable is guaranteed to be initialized. For example, if I omit the 42, then I know that my int will be initialized with a value of 0. Also, narrowing conversions are prevented, which means if I passed in a double and I tried to compile this, I'd get a compile error if I take a look at the error list, and it says conversion from double to int requires a narrowing conversion. So the braces prevent me from making that mistake because this is an int, and I don't want to truncate a double to an int unless I want to. For example, say I converted it to an int using a C-style cast. If I compiled this, then compilation succeeds. Okay, so I'm going to set this to 42. Now I'm going to log this to the output log using UE log. So I'm going to type UE underscore log. I'm going to use log temp warning and text, and I'm going to say int my int, and we need a format specifier if we want to include the value of an int in our formatted string. The format specifier for an int is %d. Whenever I put a format specifier in my formatted string, I have to then provide the value of that as the next argument in UE log. So just after the text macro, I'm going to add a comma and use myInt. And now we have a formatted string that's going to replace this %d with the value of myInt, which should be 42. So compiling this, I can then jump back into the editor and press play, and now we get myInt and the value 42 formatted into the string. So that's how to use UE log and to format a string to include an integer. We're going to continue formatting strings in the next video to give you a refresher on how to use different data types in UE log's formatted string.